Hello, should anybody happen to be here watching, and welcome to the McLuhan Institute Live, lucky number 13, brought to you by Instagram, because apparently YouTube has changed their policies, and now if you want to stream on mobile, you need to have at least 1,000 subscribers to your YouTube channel. And I have, I think, 72 as we speak. So if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do that, because I can't really, apparently you can still do the live broadcast on desktop. But if I were to do that on desktop, it would kind of defeat the purpose of being able to inventory books. And with the other thing is, I've got an awful, well, not awful, but not great, not fast enough internet connection here. So when I stream these broadcasts, I actually go on my cell phone, smartphone data and off wireless, because the data is faster, but as you know, it costs. So I keep it to 15 minutes, which I should make a note of what time it is so I can do that. So anyway, that's kind of thrown me off. I just found that out now as I tried to do my 13th live broadcast. So here we go. I'm in the middle. If you scroll back on the Instagram feed, you'll see I took a shot of a range of books, and I'm currently inventorying these great books of the Western world, a collection by Encyclopedia Britannica in cooperation with the University of Chicago. And I previously did another shelf of them over there, but they span two large shelves, and the way I organized my plan for the library was apparently different than Eric did. So in any case, I'm back to these books again. And which one was it? And it's kind of interesting because I really feel like I'm following in Eric McLuhan's footsteps here, quite literally, because, well, in one of the books I just cataloged, there was a brochure from a 1992 Independent Editors Conference in Toronto, which to me seems like he had brought that book with him to the conference. So, excuse me, I think this was Marshall's collection, published in 1952 and over the decade, because it's a large series. And I think Dad was making his way through them in the early 90s, as evidenced by things like that. And also, I posted an image of this, but this is Aristotle's Metaphysics. And included in it are some printouts of the Greek text, go Dad, which they have a date at the bottom, 1906-02, 11:50 p.m. Dad was up late in 2002 printing out Aristotle's Metaphysics in Greek to follow along. And there's some picture of this online as well. This is one of the hard things about what I'm doing, inventorying this collection of books. So if this is your first time, if you don't know what I'm doing, I'm documenting and inventorying the library of Eric McLuhan, which you see around me, 6,000 or so volumes, about the size of Marshall McLuhan's library. And it really is one of the difficult things, because the object of what I'm doing is to get a complete inventory in as little time as possible. Now, I'm doing this kind of in my spare time, Tuesday nights, one night a week for a few hours after we get the boys to bed. I come out here and take in the library. So it's taking a while, as it will, and I am kind of running out of time. I'm not going to go into that right now, but I may or may not actually complete this task, but I can't really speed up and I can't really slow down, so it is what it is. In fact, to the point, it's the most difficult thing about this is not that it can be boring, because for me it's never boring, although it probably is for other people, But the hard thing for me is just not to read these books. You know, as I see my dad's 30 years ago, my dad is 25, whatever years ago, my dad's making his way through these books. And I can't. I don't have the time. Maybe someday I'll be able to come back to it, but I can't right now, and that kind of sucks. It hurts a little bit. But anyway, that is what it is. Maybe in a perfect world, I'll be able to keep this library where it is and eventually make my own way through these books, and maybe you can come visit and check them out too. That would be great. So why don't I catalog a few books while we're here. I think we have some people joining me. Hey everybody, cool. So where was I? Aristotle's Metaphysics. So if this is your first time here, what I'm doing is I'm making note of the basic publication data, exciting stuff. This is the Great Books of the Western World, number 8, Aristotle 1, Metaphysics. And I make note of that stuff, date printed, condition of the book, in order to have a copy, a hard copy to refer to. I did the same task for Marshall McLuhan's books about 10 years ago, before they went to the University of Toronto, where they now live at the Thomas Fisher Rare Book Library. And I'm going a little bit deeper, a little more thorough with my inventory this time around, because I find that there's some things I wish I had to refer to. So I'm doing all that bare data. I'm making a note of the degree and kind of annotation. So where he uses popular things like figure and ground, medium is the message, various other common annotations. I'm making a note of that, so I'll have a searchable database at the end to help me and any future people who are interested. So I'm just going to make a note here that there are some annotations. It's not very precise, and that there are printed pages included in Greek from 2002. And this is a case where there aren't actually any annotations, references at the end papers, which there often are, but inside there are marginal notes and underlinings and little notes. There's a cool thing here. I put a picture up of it. Plato's grammatical roots! Exclamation mark. That's the cool thing for me, and maybe other people following this, is you're following my father's voyage, his exploration, and his discoveries, you know, and it's at times exciting. In the same series, a little further on the shelves, there is works of Francis Bacon and a few others. I forget the exact volume, but in it there are notes by Marshall and Eric McLuhan, and a lot of them are sort of foundational notes for what eventually became Laws of Media, the New Science, which Eric managed to get published in 1988. So there are legitimate. That's probably the most exciting thing I've come across so far. We'll do a couple books here. Here we have Aristotle 2. How are you today? I hope you're having a great day. I am. Great Books of the Western World. Number 9. Aristotle 2. Still 1952. I joke that this has got to be the most boring live broadcast on the internet, but I'm sure there are much more dull I mean, it's a matter of preference. I know there are all sorts of webcams watching ships and trail cams and whatever else that are dead boring for some and dead thrilling for others. So whatever, for book geeks, maybe this is some kind of pornography. I don't know. I'm having a great time anyway. So yeah, nothing biological treatises. I make sure to flip through pretty quickly, but as thoroughly as I can, just scanning to see if there's anything, and there's not there, so we move on. Like I said, time. This one, the spine is barely cracked, so I don't know if you will have read this very deeply. Great books. 10. Hippocrates and Galen. I'll be interested to see if he actually read this. It doesn't seem like he did. I guess he picked and chose. I mean, life's short. There are so many books and so little time, right? This looks fairly untouched. I guess he skipped over Hippocrates. Although there are other books in here on physical sciences, stuff on biology, like how the eye works and stuff like that, which have a lot of notes in them and are more relevant to McLuhan interests, as it were. Hippocrates, not so much. Anyway, I'll cut it off for now because you get the idea. Who knows what next week will hold? If I can get 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube, we'll move back there. Otherwise, who knows? Thanks for joining me here. Check out the McLuhan Institute on Facebook and Twitter as well for other goodies. Good night. Never done this before. There we go. So long.